everybody. So today we're going to answer the question, can you have family members serve on your board of directors? Let's get started. Hey y'all, this is Tiffany with Boss in the Budget. I help new and small nonprofits get up and running. If you need help getting your nonprofit started, subscribe to my channel because I drop a video every week. So today let's talk about the question, can family members serve on your board? So let's just get the answer out the way. The answer is yes. And I'm pretty sure some of you are like, Tiffany, you're way behind the curve because I already have my family on my board. Their name's on the paperwork and we are rolling. So to answer your question really quickly, yes, family members can serve on your board, but you may wonder why this video is longer than where we've been listening to so far, because there are kind of asterisks and there's kind of a yes, but. So yes, family members can serve on your board, but you should limit the number of family members that serve on your board for a number of reasons. And they also serve a specific purpose for a specific season. And you need to be able to recognize when that season is up and when you need to move on. So I'm going to give you the answer, the yes, but first I'll give you the regulatory kind of answer, and then I'll give you more the strategic answer. So in terms of building your nonprofit and trying to be sustainable, I'll give you from both those perspectives. So first, the legal and kind of the regulatory answer to that question is yes, the IRS allows it. And this is specifically for 501c3 tax exempt organizations, because there are differences between different 501c organizations. But most charitable organizations are 501c3s. And so the IRS is very concerned about individuals or groups of individuals who can directly benefit from the organization. So the whole point of you being a nonprofit is that if you have excess profits or there's some kind of benefit to being associated with your nonprofit, that not one person or group of people kind of unfairly benefit from that relationship. So they're very mindful of those potential kind of traps that organizations can fall into that can kind of draw allegiances and cause people to unduly benefit. And one of those things they use to keep track is how many people are related to each other or associated with each other who kind of run the organization. So the IRS will ask you how many people are related on your board, or are there people who are related on your board? And if they're asking you a question, that means they're paying attention to it. So they're mindful of that. So just keep that in mind, that if you have a lot of family members on your board, that the IRS does pay attention to that. But also keep in mind, because there's so many keep in minds to this. There's so many caveats to this. If you have a small budget and you're not filling out the full 990 form for your tax form, you don't necessarily have to supply this information. So it does depend on your budget size. It depends on how long you've been in existence. All these factors matter, but I'm just giving you general information for this particular video. IRS generally does not like more than 49% of people on the board being related by blood or marriage, okay? So the reason why that is because they cannot kind of overrule or veto a vote. So they have to be a little less than the majority so that people can't align with each other and kind of overrule something. And again, it's to keep people from unduly benefiting. So if the family or people who are related get together and say, well, we want to make this decision, and it's kind of a conflict of interest, but the family is doing it because it provides some benefit to them, the IRS wants to make sure there's a balance so that there are people who are unassociated, unaffiliated with that family can help make a balanced decision about whether or not that should happen. So the IRS likes to have checks and balances, and one of those is by checking how many people are kind of related on the board. So if that makes sense, the answer to the question is yes, family can serve on the board, but you need to limit the number of family members. And the IRS generally defines being related by blood, typically in your immediate family, or like grandpa and grandma, or related by marriage. So you need to check the IRS, and I'll drop a link for how they define blood and by marriage. but that's the limited definition that they do use for family, okay? So let's talk about the other perspective. From a strategic perspective, should you or how should you limit the number of family members that you have on your board? So I've said this in a couple of other videos, but there's a time and a place for family. And I like to be real about what it takes to start a nonprofit from the ground up. The reality is that most people will put their family as their board members when they're first starting out. They'll put their spouses, they'll put their mama and their daddy, or their sister or their brother, because they need names and they know that these people won't mind. So if their state requires at least 3 board members, they're saying, oh, I can put them on there and then we'll figure it out later. But in reality, what's happening is that they're board members in name, but you as the founder, you're doing all the work, right? And they may pitch in here and there, but you're not necessarily having meetings, or you're not kind of strategizing and figuring out how to move the organization forward. You're left to do that on your own. And I'll just say that most people who start like that get burnt out really, really quickly, which is another reason why I do not recommend that you start with your family and your friends. But I like to be real and acknowledge that people do. So the question is, if you had to start like that and you're trying to move away from that, should you and how do you, right? So to answer the question, should you? Yes. Please, at some point, move beyond just your immediate family and really your friend circle. And the reason why I say that is because you want to attract people on your board who care about the mission, not necessarily care about you. Because if they care about you but less about the mission, their allegiance or their willingness to work and really do what it takes to launch your organization is going to be much less than somebody who's there because they believe in that mission, they believe in that cause. So people who are doing it in your family are supporting you, but that's going to run up. That's going to run out. And they're not going to necessarily show up to meetings. And if they do, they're not going to be fully engaged, most likely. So you got to be careful about who you pick for your board members, so that there are people who are thinking partners. There are people who can think broadly and do strategy with you and help you create budgets. So you want a certain skill set on your board that your family and your friends may not have. And when you're trying to identify board members, you should kind of list out, who do you want at the table? What kind of qualifications, what kind of skills or backgrounds? But not just that, what kind of perspectives or what kind of lived experiences do you want on the board? And a lot of times that is not necessarily your family and your friends. Sometimes it is, but most times it's not. So you want to be able to attract the expertise and the type of people you want at the table. You need to be able to recruit that. You need to identify what that is and recruit for that, and recruit beyond your immediate circle. The other piece to this is you want to kind of leverage the professional and personal networks of the people on your board. So they're going to be helping you fundraise by tapping into people that they know, and you want them to be affiliated with people who have some kind of affinity for your mission, or who have some kind of willingness or attracted to your mission, right? And you want people who have networks that are different from yours, that are more expansive or just different and have different perspectives, right? So you want to attract people who are not in your immediate circles, because you're going to be hitting up your immediate circles anyway, right? You're going to be tapping into them for fundraising and for help anyway. So for the board, you want to expand your reach. So you want to identify people outside of your immediate circles so you can tap in and leverage their networks as well. The other piece to this is, if you want to expand beyond your own personal circle, how do you? Well, I have a board recruitment toolbox, and I dropped the link in the description box below. But I have a board recruitment toolbox that helps you kind of first identify the skill sets that you want, the different perspectives and backgrounds that you want, and then some suggestions for how to recruit and how to find people to serve on your board. I will also link a video that I have talking about how to recruit a board and how to look for board members. But it provides a welcome letter and a welcome packet, invitation letters, all the kind of things that you need to better recruit for your organization. So I've left that link below for you to kind of look at that toolbox and see if it will work for you, and see if it can help you recruit more board members. So there you have it. So the question of the day was, can family members serve on your board? And what is the answer? Yes, they can, but you should limit them and really think beyond your immediate circle and figure out how to identify other people. If you need help with your nonprofit, visit me at www.bossonabudget.com. I have a lot of resources there, and I will see you in the next video.